And I've always followed Jim. Jim was one of my heroes of all heroes because he's the author of Investment Biker. I mean, imagine riding a motorcycle around the world. You know, I mean, holy gamoly, what an experience. And then he drove his car around the world and he wrote Hot Commodities. And so we've been kindred spirits, but he is one of my mentors, one of my teachers, a person I look up to. So he's on the program today. And we're going to talk about a very important subject for those who are really interested in getting rich. It's history. So, you know, Jim, this thing about boom, bust, and manias. There was Tulip and Bull Mania, South Sea Bubble. There was the collapse of the Roman Empire, collapse of the Chinese Empire. There was the Weimar Republic, you know, that they printed trillions of dollars. There was Zimbabwe. There's Havana or Castro. What historical event do you think about when we think about today? What historical event would you relate to today?
Well, since we're talking about, you know, money, the most important thing these days that I think, well, not the most, but one, is clearly the bubbles we've had before in the world, not just the U.S. The U.S. didn't invent bubbles. You know, SPACs are coming around. At the end of every bull market, SPACs come around. But Robert, SPACs have been around for 300 years. We didn't invent SPACs, but when things are exuberant and crazy and wild, along come SPACs again. Along come a lot of young people fleeing into the market and say, oh my God, this is easy. This is fun. I'm going to be rich. And they tell all their friends how fast they're going to get rich. It's all happened before.
And the Bitcoin conference was just over. Maria Bartiromo had me on her program speaking about Bitcoin. Stuart Varney had me on the program talking about Bitcoin. And the only reason I know anything about Bitcoin is because I studied history.
Yep.
So how do you relate? I mean, you know, the Weimar Republic is very obvious because that was 1918, gave rise to a guy named Adolf Hitler in 1930. Because they printed so much money. And that's similar to today. What other events do you think about?
As I say, I mean, this has all happened before, Richard. 1968, there was a huge bubble in the U.S. And in those days, the hot thing were computers. If you were a company, you put computer in your name and your stock went through the roof. You could be a laundry. Didn't matter. If you called yourself the computer laundry, the stock skyrocketed. And that's what's happening again with SPACs and cryptocurrencies. I mean, I've seen this movie. I know how this movie is going to end. You do too, obviously. For anybody who has read any history, and specifically financial history, since that's what we're talking about, it's not my first rodeo.
So what other events come to mind? You know, like this is like the gold rush, 1849, the 49ers. A lot of people got rich. A lot of people got poor also. But it improved America, you know, expanded America. Whereas the Weimar Republic brought to power Adolf Hitler.
Well, I'm not suggesting that Adolf Hitler was good for the world. He thought he was good for the world. Fortunately, history has a different view. If he were around, he could read history and he would see that most of us realize he made a few mistakes. But I mean, think about what you were just talking about. You know, think about the bubble at the end of the century, the 1999, 2000. Microsoft is still here. Apple is still here. These stocks were huge bubbles in 1999. They did survive, fortunately, and it made us all better off. But many did not survive, and that's what people need to learn most of all, that most of them did not survive. And you better be careful. And you better be smart because likely you're going to lose everything. And that's one of the things that people do not understand now. Most people are going to lose huge amounts of money when this all comes apart.
Before we continue, help us by smashing that YouTube like button and subscribe now to this channel. This shows the algorithm that you value the information and it helps us spread this message. Sharing is caring. Please like and subscribe now. Thank you. And now, let's continue.
So, Jim, because you brought up, you know, the .com boom bust. Remember, there was pets.com, there was Y2K, there was all of that going on simultaneously. And I was just talking to this friend of mine who went to the Bitcoin program, and every Bitcoiner is the next Bitcoin. That's like every .com was going to be the next Amazon. And what I tried to tell her, I said, most of them won't be around. maybe one or two cryptos will survive. Who knows? But the odds are everybody's throwing their money. That's why it's booms, bust, and mania. People are nuts right now. Look at real estate. It's nuts. That was 2008 again.
And I'm glad you bring up real estate because it's happening everywhere. If you go to Korea, you go to New Zealand, you go to many places, they're all saying the same things. You got to buy it. You got to buy it. You got to buy it now. And part of the reason they're saying that is because the interest rates are the lowest they've been in world history. Now, you and I both know that when interest rates go low, people say, I got to buy some property. Wow, that's great. But interest rates also will go higher, as they always have, and they always will. And when they do, real estate may not be such a hot thing. You may get it right, but most of your friends and neighbors will not get it right. And that is a lesson of history.
Well, there's also another lesson in history, Jim, that we all know is called you buy when there's blood in the streets.
Oh, yeah.
And for guys like you and me, that's the best. Like just now, I was down at Nordstrom's or Saks. The sale rack is packed. Things that were like $100 are like $19.95. That's the best time to buy.
Yeah, I want to go.
I would, but you and I know that's the best time. That's the blood in the streets. So history, there's booms, busts, manias, followed by blood in the streets. And that's what I'm trying to tell people. This person's trying to buy one of my properties and they're offering me, I think I paid $2 million for it. They offered me $9 million for it.
Sell.
I would, except that I'm attached to it, Jim. But I don't need the money either. Do you know what I mean? That's like I bought Bitcoin. I just tracked it down from 20,000. I got interested at 20. It tracked to 3, got to 7. And then I knew the momentum was building up. So I picked it up at 9. And so what's it going to do? I said, I don't really care right now because I'm still in the money, but I bought it on sale. And that's what smart investors do. Is that correct, Jim?
Well, of course. I mean, I'm not the first to know that you buy low and sell high. That's easy. The hard part, Robert, as you know, is what's low, what's high. Yeah, any of us I can say those words. But the problem is what's low and what's high. Back to cryptocurrencies, hundreds of them have already disappeared. I mean, we don't hear about the hundreds that have disappeared and gone to zero. But now there are thousands of these things. I'm not smart enough to have ever bought or sold any of them. Wish I were as smart as you. That's why you're a rich dad. Yeah. That's why I'm on your show. But the same thing is going to happen in the end. And the same words, we've all heard them before. Oh, you don't understand. It's different this time. It is so different now. Well, okay, I hope it is, but it never has been different. It's never been different before. As I say, hundreds of them have already disappeared. And maybe 6 of them or maybe 60 of them will last forever. But it's not my first bubble.
What to do in such a situation? Inform yourself and keep your financial education strong. We from the Compact Group offer our loyal subscribers a free educational portal with firsthand monetary, financial, and economic knowledge. Enter our invite-only Insider Club by clicking the link below. You will get access to first-class information far earlier than the rest. We have prepared a special deal for all our members where you can access a giant pool of Robert Kiyosaki's financial wisdom for just $1. To find out more, simply click the link below and join our Insider Club absolutely free. But there is more you can and should do. Build up several streams of income. More and more people realize that they have to take their future in their own hands, but they don't know how and where to start. We from Compact offer our Insider Club members unique opportunities. Strengthen your financial muscle and get the edge. Click the link below. Become part of our free Insider Club. No financial obligations. But there's one important thing you have to know. You have to become active. So do it now. Become active and see you on the other side.